All right, all right, all right. Are we live? This is Jared from Crypto Plan. I'm just going to give everyone a little second to come on and just basically outline why I'm on here. Like, one, I was about to do a video of the hottest crypto stocks after the most recent Bitcoin dip because we all know when Bitcoin dips, the altcoins follow. But what I like to watch is how quickly things bounce back or who's the leaders in the bounce back. So I was going to do a quick little video on that, but then I thought I've got too much to talk about, so I'll go live. And so that's why we're here. And yeah, so I'm just going to have a look at the Bitcoin chart for a while before people maybe possibly get on. And then we can kind of move over to the hottest stocks. And I really want to talk about my strategy at the moment, because my strategy at the moment is I'm fully accumulated. I just want to get the last bargain. So I do believe that there is going to be some crazy price action just before the crazy price action to the upside. So I believe that there's going to be a real downward push, not in every altcoin, but in some altcoins, and they're going to give us bargain basement prices like happened to XRP. I'm seeing this everywhere. I'm hearing this everywhere. And I guess things are so fragile that and people start to make bad decisions in markets at this time, that there's that potential that anything that's pumped, 2 or 3 or 400% can then come back to those price levels, potentially that they'd been sitting at there throughout the bear market. So, and XRP proved it with a little bit of news that happened, that the weak hands sold out and great price action was available. Now, who knows where that may happen next? So let's try and find in this live stream the best bargains or the best price entry point for the best, hottest cryptos, and the bargain prices to get them at, right? So, but anyway, I'm going to talk about Bitcoin for a second, just because I do believe that we are in a longer consolidation period than everyone thinks. And I'm just going to highlight this area here and just have a look at this one here and see that there was two, and we're on a 2 weekly chart. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 weeks, right? So I'll zoom in. Let's delete that. I'll zoom in on that. So there was this period where Bitcoin retraced, right? So and I've marked the line down here, and I like this distance from simple moving average, right? So when it hit around this 180% from the yearly moving average, around here, just under 180%, it decided to go up a little bit more, but then it retraced for a couple of weeks. So I think that we're going to play out something similar to that. That's just a guess, but I just think we're going to play out something similar to that. So we're 2 weeks into basically maybe a 6 to 8 week correction or a consolidation period for Bitcoin, because I think anyone that wants to get out of it and they've made a little bit of money and they're trading into other things, or they're just happy with their profits, they're selling, and there's buyers, so there's sellers and buyers and sellers and buyers, and they're kind of the battle is fairly even at the moment between the bulls and the bears. So I think that's where we're at, and so I've pegged this line here, 180%, 194% above the simple moving average as the indicating line that says Bitcoin is in a longer consolidation, which to me gives everyone enough time to basically freak out a little bit, and kind of doubt themselves. So that's why I've decided to have a look at a lot of the altcoins from the angle of what do they do after Bitcoin corrects, right? So I'm on this 2 weekly chart because I like to take a zoomed out view at the moment of where things can go, where longer term resistance levels are. So you can see clearly that, and to use this chart as the kind of example chart, that Bitcoin had this, 20K resistance level from the previous bull market, retraced, and we've got this Ichimoku Cloud thing going on, and it has kind of followed there and been stuck in there, right? So used it as resistance here, and I'll zoom in a bit. So it's used it as support here, followed up, it's been resistance. So it's been all the way in and then it broke out and it hasn't looked back. And during that time, it was above its yearly moving average and above its 3-year moving average. So it's generally, even though been in a bear market, it's generally been bullish as a project. It's always kind of been above its yearly moving average, except for this little anomaly there, and then obviously the March anomaly as well. But in general, it spends a lot of time above its yearly moving average, and that yearly moving average is above the 3-year moving average. So we're looking at coins that potentially are crossing over their yearly moving average over their 3-year moving average, and ones that are breaking out of this particular cloud or this resistance level of this Ichimoku Cloud. So that's what we're going to look at today. Some coins won't have enough data. Some coins are too new to actually provide that enough data to actually prove that they're breaking out, but that just means that they're in, they've only got a price ceiling of their recent price action, and then they're in that price discovery range, which if anyone's seen my other videos of like Argo blockchain, once things go into price discovery, they go parabolic anyway, as you can see with Bitcoin. Since Bitcoin broke out, just to use it as the example, since it broke out of that cloud, it's done up to 270%. So it went fairly parabolic compared to, this fairly sideways price action for quite a long time. My first one is Ethereum. And you can see once again on the 2-week chart, once it got sideways towards the edge of this cloud, it broke out, right? And that was coinciding with, near the all-time high. So it wasn't that this breakout 2-week period of 53% was particularly any crazy price level that decided. Just the market said that it had been building its way up, and it got out of this cloud, and bang, it went on out 50%, 25%, and then we'll see what happens this month. But I think this month is the kind of the dipping between breaking out, pulling back, breaking out, pulling back from all-time highs. So Ethereum is bullish. If for a trade, if you've got thousands of dollars to whack into the market, like if you can get Ethereum at anything under $1,000 now, and I reckon, even if it dips down as low as the top of the cloud there, $700, if some freak occurrence happened, like that's the trade of the century, as in, Ethereum's going to go up after that, right? So any pullback on Ethereum right now, if you just want safe money, Ethereum's a go, I'm personally only have one Ethereum, and I've held it since probably back in this zone here. So in the 400 range. So I'm happy with that. I'll roll that over into an altcoin at some point, and that'll be that, right? That's the trade. XRP, don't want to talk about that. Graph, this is my friend. I want to talk about Graph super heavily, and I'm going to have to go back to the 4-hourly for Graph, because it'll give us a better picture of where we're at, right? So I've kind of already placed that trend line. So we are a new coin in Graph. We've hit a high. So we've definitely got one resistance level of 74 cents. But then you can see recently that the market decided that 64 cents was also a level that we didn't want to go above, and that's fine. And then we've had some kind of basically cupping in that period. So is this a cup and handle? Yeah, probably. It's cupped around. It's hit a lower high than previously, but it's handling out. And then the main thing I'm excited about is the way it reacted after Bitcoin's recent kind of dip, right? So 39% on the bounce of Bitcoin. So I like the idea of this. So if Bitcoin's going to do another correction, a downward leg of its correction, Graph is the one that I want to get into. Like the fact that you could have traded it and caught it anywhere, even if you caught it at 43, it's going up to 55 within hours, within a day, like that's definitely one that you could short-term trade. I wouldn't short-term trade it. I'm just trying to get the lowest entry point possible at the moment. I do have a position somewhere down in here, but if I want to add to that position, I don't want to add to it in the 65s. I want to add to it as low as possible. So for me, I don't see it being weak ever again, but naturally altcoins follow Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin does correct lower, which I believe it will over the next couple of weeks, and all go sideways, if something like this takes a hit and gets back down to that 43 level, I'm definitely going to add to my bag. So Graph is a buy for me at the right levels at the moment. I mean, definitely anything under 65 is okay. Who knows, right now is okay, but I would just kind of sit out for a little bit. I don't think there's, I don't think you can safely say that any coin is only going to go up from here. It'll never see lower than the price right now. Like I've heard that so many times from chart analysts, and that's the last time we'll see this price level. That's the last time we'll see this price level. That's impossible to say that, like these projects aren't actually worth anything. They're worth what the market's willing to speculate on. So I believe that a lot of things will be out there, a lot of bargains to be had, and Graph token is my number one hot pick. And if you can grab that at a bargain, and I can see there on the 4 hourly, there's some kind of resistance there around 41. So that would be kind of and I guess if we set that up, that somewhere around there, if we can get in at 41, I'd be happy. So for anyone out there looking for good trade entry points, 41 would be the one where I'd be setting my limit orders. Basic attention token now, where we've been waiting for this one. I haven't done any analysis on this for a long time, but it's basically ranging after being quite hot for a while. And I'm going to go back to that 2 weekly just because I can. And just to show you that we're in an uptrend, as in it's megaphoning out from the start of its existence, or at least on this chart, on the Kraken chart. So we're doing the right things, but the fact that it's popped out in this 2 week period, and I guess in the last 2 week period, but I hadn't seen it kind of moving rapidly, but the fact that it's done 35% here on the bounce of Bitcoin's latest correction tells me that it's super bullish now. And you can see here that on that particular last dip, it touched its yearly moving average. So it's telling me that it could potentially do that again. So let's move out to the next 2 week period and go maybe somewhere in the kind of 23 range is a good dip target. If it's going to dip again, a good entry point. It's funny, like you could have bought it here and below and been in the 20s, like there's so much action in the 20s and below, and then just this kind of wick up here into the 44s. So 22 to 44, that's a double your money, right? So, and then it's in price discovery. So 23 cents, US cents for BAT would be a good entry point for me if it pulls back again. I definitely wouldn't be buying it now after it's just pumped 35% because you can't get that 35% that's just happened, right? Elgo, I like this one. It's new. It's the sentiments there. The video I did on it, there's good chat about it. Like I see other analysts kind of watching it and saying that there's good things about it. There's good tech around it. I think some of the bigger YouTubers are kind of rating it as, the hidden gem in the altcoins, and the chart says so, right? It's swinging, but it's swinging in a tight range and it's swinging up, right? So that's what we want to see. So for me, something like Elgo, if I was going to make a position entry, I'm looking to get as close to this bottom line of this upper channel, right? So if Elgo taps out in that top, I'm sitting it out. I've missed the boat. I don't need to have another altcoin in my bag, but if it dips again with Bitcoin and it starts reaching towards these lower ends of this a parallel channel, then that's the sort of targets I'm looking for. And I can kind of see maybe that somewhere around there, that 33 cents might be a good level, as opposed, let's say there's some resistance there across the board. So yeah, maybe I'll kind of leave it up around there in that doji candle. So 33.5 cents would be a good entry point for me. So if Bitcoin does a crazy correction, everything drags down with it, Elgo goes down to 33, that's my entry point. So I've got a little bit of cash on the side. I did a video recently that I took some profits on Stellar and Cardano just so that I could sit on the sidelines and play this game of like, which bargain can I get, you know? So I'm super stoked about, you know, playing this game and trying to get that last little squeeze of profit out of this crypto market, because we are in that fear zone. We are in that scared zone where people are not knowing what to do. So I say hold on to whatever you've got now, unless you've got a predetermined trade. Like I said before, I will trade my Ethereum at some point when it's gone up enough, and, you know, maybe XRP hasn't pumped yet, or maybe, you know, one of my altcoins in my watch list hasn't pumped. I'm going to roll over into that, but right now I'd say hold, just watch, wait and see. There's no, you know, I mean, you can take your profits if you can, if you're going to play this strategy. I am, but that's not financial advice. But definitely with Elgo, 33 cents would be my buy target on the next dip, because you can see that, you know, it's done a good 12%, but I think it's a growing sentiment coin. You know, people are getting onto it, get in early. It's an early buy. And then once it breaks out of this channel at $1, it's price discovery. Once it goes over the 62 cents, it's price discovery. But once it breaks out of this channel, there's no stopping it. There is absolutely no stopping it. So watch for that 33 cents for a buy. District X, I like this one, as in I was put onto this by a comment in one of my videos, did the analysis, and I'm like, this is cool, you know, like there's a lot of these hidden altcoin gems out there that for some reason are getting attention, you know, and some reason are getting pumped. I don't know why that is, but hey, if you can be on this side of the trade down at the, you know, under 1 cent and get that, 600% in a 2-week period, OMG. Anyway, these are the ones I'm saying where they're weak. They're weak as in sentiment could easily shift the other way, if you know what I mean. Like a lot of people in there, are they short-term traders that are going to sell out and go into something else? You don't know. So the idea is that, yes, it will go with the bull market. Yes, it will eventually hit its all-time highs and go above and beyond. But if you could pick something like this up again, somewhere around here, you know, maybe the 5 cents, you know, I think if you could get it anywhere between 6 and 5 cents there, you know, from this consolidation range, if it dips back there, that's a buy for me. Now you can see also that there's a signal that I talked about at the start of the stream, that it's broken out of its cloud here, so it's above the cloud. This candle did it, hasn't closed the 2-week period into the cloud. So if it finds support here, it could be super bullish, you know, it could just hold there. And we're seeing a bullish cross of that yearly and that 3-year moving average happening right now. So I'm not saying it's a trade that I'd get into because of those factors, but it's probably a hold signal. If you had accumulated in here and saw this one, maybe there's another leg up before there's a retracement, or it could just kind of grind its way down the edge here and come back to these levels. Not sure what's going to happen here, but it's definitely one that I'd be keeping my eyes on. And if I could get it in and around the 5 cents, I'd be like, yep, give me a little bag of that. So District X is a buy for me at 5 cents. Because that still gives you a good 5, 10, 15x to all-time highs, depending on which chart you look at. So Theta, so bullish. Like this token seems to follow Bitcoin in the sense that if Bitcoin's going up and other things are going sideways, it's going up, right? I don't know why that is. Maybe it's that Google thing. Maybe it's the just the general nature of what it's doing and trying to solve the problem of HD streaming. But I like it, and I like the chart. I like any chart that's like this, that goes up steadily and retraces and cups around and then goes up steadily and goes sideways for a bit and then goes up steadily, right? So there's a clear pattern there. It's not, doesn't seem too volatile, but there's great growth, right? So let's have a look at it here on the channel range. So if we go up here, we've got this going on. And if we go up here, we've got this going on. So once again, for me, Theta, I'm looking to get in at $1 again, you know, like ideally under $1. I have a decent bag now. I'm happy with it, but I wish I had a sat on the sidelines a bit more and got these prices instead of buying in these ranges. You know, I think my first bag's down here, but then I added to it up around here and just got excited. But I would love to see this thing dip towards the $1 range and a little bit lower. So I think if we grab this line and just say that if we can get this thing for anywhere between 76 cents, and I'm not saying that it'll go this low, but I'm just saying I'm keeping an eye on it if it does go this low, anywhere between 76 cents and maybe if it could manage to dip down somewhere in that range, you know, hit this line, this particular 2-week period, which we've got 9 days left of, right? So if we could kind of hit that cross, just under $1 and maybe even lower, I'd be super happy, and I'd be super putting any and all of my energy and resources into Theta because I like it. I like what it's doing. I like the way it's going. It's in price discovery. It's been in price discovery for a long time. It's gone sideways all through the bear market. It hasn't seen an alt season, so it's unpredictable in the sense of how bullish it actually can be. But the reality is that since March, and we won't even use the wicks there, it's given you 37x. So if you were smart enough and able enough to buy that in March, in that correction, in that Black Swan event, you would have been super, super well off now. And so if it can do another 37% from here, thank you, Theta, for your bullishness. DOT, I don't know. Like, I held a bit of DOT. I like this project. I like the coin. I like the chart. I don't think I'm going to play it again. I chose specifically to roll any DOT I had out into Theta. So it's kind of, I think I had DOT, Zilliqa, and on my radar, and then I found out about Theta, and I was like, no, that's going to be my altcoin. You know, that's going to be my non-XRP, non-Stellar, non-ADA altcoin, my kind of smaller, you know, or mid-tier bag. So DOT, it was a buy. It was definitely a buy down here. Up here, not so much. You know, all the fat's gone out of it. Like, why would you bother? But I guess if you do want to buy DOT, I'll give you some analysis on where I think it could go. It's gone up quite sharply here, so I think somewhere in the $10 range is where it could go back to. Definitely touch off this yearly moving average of 11, so somewhere in that range would be a buy target. You know, definitely not right here. It's going sideways, and you can see it's printing down. You know, so it's printing downwards. So it's a bull flag. It's a bull flag, but it can dip all the way down here. You know, like if Bitcoin goes on a long retracement, it can potentially dip all the way down here before it fires up again and closes kind of this gap of that wick there to those wicks there. So DOT, bullish, it's a buy. Once again, I mean, as a trade like Ethereum, you know, the lower you can get it right now, I feel confident that DOT will just go on a tear. You know, it's going to do amazing things. It's just that you'd rather be in at $5 rather than at, you know, $25, if you know what I mean, or $17 or whatever it is now. So everyone's in it. You know, the people, well done to the people that accumulated down here. I didn't hold. I knew that it was going to do something. It was just didn't have the energy to kind of be watching everything. So that was that. Stellar, once again, super bullish coin. I love these flags, you know, like they're kind of very predictable, you know, like you buy in here, it goes up. You could nearly sell there, just sit it out on the sidelines, buy in again, you know, wait your 2 or 3 days, sell there at the top, and then buy in again at the bottom. So where is Stellar going to? I think Stellar can go quite low. It's already proven to be testing breaking through the yearly moving average. So there is a sign of weakness. So I think that somewhere around this level is definitely possible. So the 20 cents is definitely possible, but I also think that somewhere around here is possible. And for that reason, and because, because I just think that people have moved to Stellar because they can't, the fear around XRP, it's kind of like the little brother, little sister kind of situation of like, well, if I can't buy XRP, I'll buy XLM. It's just a vague theory here, but I think that there is a bit of weakness in this last buy-in, like this one here is solid. It's good consolidation, but maybe it shouldn't have gone that high, like that was 77% day, like that's a huge day considering we're not actually in an alt season. So there is that potential, and we've seen it, that things can turn around as quickly as they go upwards. So 20 cents is definitely a beginning of an accumulation, but loading the bag again is 12 cents, because you can see here that it could potentially even close that gap of these wicks and just test it again, just to test these long-term support levels of 11 cents. So it's one to keep an eye out for anyway, of Stellar. And because keeping with that theme of like, if you've got money on the sidelines right now, you want to maximize profits. You don't want to buy now in the middle of a correction. I think that there's 2 to 4 weeks more of Bitcoin going sideways and kind of pulling the market left and right. And that's naturally going to make these bull flags kind of drop and dip. And, so there's the 1 dip, 2 dip, there's maybe 3 dips. And then the 4th one potentially is the freak out before it pops out of there. And then that could be the alt season. So just watch that space, like watch this space down here, where it might use this cloud here as resistance. So I like this idea, so the Ichimoku Cloud, it kind of gives you a past representation of where future resistance and support could be, right? I'm not going to do every coin because I want to get into some of the precious miners, but ZRX is one that is very, very rangy, and I'm going to go back to that 2 weekly and see that it's got a lot of work to get out of that cloud, but you watch, if it grinds its way up out of here and hits that 75 cent level, pop, it's going to fly out of there. So it's one that I'm watching. There's no one else is talking about it, but I like ZRX. I do have a position in it. I've been buying in this kind of the last couple of weeks. Just a very small position, but yeah, I like it. And it's quite a far away from its yearly and 3-yearly bullish cross, but it's holding support in this cloud. So I like it. I like ZRX, and I think it could be one of those laggard ones that you can roll things into and get quite a good gain, considering, especially if it dips to that yearly moving average. Where have we got? So it dips to that yearly moving average. Got 6x to the all-time high, which is a good little gain, especially if you're rolling profits from something else into a laggard like that. And it could easily dip lower, like there's nothing here telling me that it can't go anywhere, up or down. So ZRX is definitely a watch, wait and see what happens. Probably say if an entry point for ZRX, 29 cents, there's solid resistance there and then solid support level for a while. So if it's going to take a dip and go as low as 29 cents, that's a nice floor entry for ZRX. Zilliqa, very much like Theta, legs up, consolidation, legs up. So there's no trouble here. Like if you want to buy something like Zilliqa, pretty much you could buy it at any time, besides these kind of wicks, and be confident that it's going to go up again. I think waiting and seeing maybe 49 cents there at the top of that wick. If it tries to test that again, maybe if you're super lucky, somewhere around here. 2 cents, sorry, not 49 cents, 4 cents or 2 cents, but I think it's past that. I think Zilliqa's strong and it's legging up, and it's not super volatile. It's not losing a lot when Bitcoin goes down. It's not gaining a lot when Bitcoin goes down. It's just, there's a good chart there. Cardano, I think, will correct. I'm public about that. I've done a video about this. I think the potential is there for Cardano to retest somewhere in the 13 cent range. It may only be a short and brief wick, but if you're going to, like I say, be on the sidelines and be waiting for those super bargains, that's where I think it could go. And the fact that it's yearly moving averages down there, and things love to test moving averages. I don't think it'll go that low, but I think that's a fairly good target there. I think, and just the fact that we've seen a large spike in volume there. It's like an unprecedented spike in volume. Like people have FOMO'd into this particular project. And then the next couple of weeks, they're just sitting there going, why isn't it mooning? Why aren't I going higher and higher? Like, why am I going sideways? Why do I have to wait for these millions of dollars that I'm going to make? Right? And then people sell, people sell, and then it gets weak. So maybe another target there is the 20 cent level as well. So anywhere from 20 to 14 cents is probably a good accumulation zone for Cardano. VeChain, geez, I think it's done its thing. I don't see VeChain retesting that 2 cents again. But if it does, I think it'll bounce off 2 cents every time. It took so long to break through 2 cents again, and then it dropped again. And it tested, and it's been taunting us for long enough that I think it's out. I think it's spent enough time in this range that 2 cents is probably the lowest it'll go, and more than likely that 2.2 cents is what it'll dip it to again. Like, I would buy VET again at 2.2 cents. I think for where it's going, and I'm very public about my price targets for it, it's going to 6 cents easily, which is a great return in any book, for the fact that you can buy it for 2 cents now, and well, not now, but you could have bought it for 2 cents, and it's going beyond. I think it's going beyond $1, but in the short term, it's definitely going to see 6 cents very soon. It's just waiting to pop. I mean, it's one of those things that, and if we do a bit of a kind of a channel-y thing going on here, all it needs to do is just break out of this channel, and then that's game show over. It's in price discovery. It's going to go on a tear. Like VeChain will be one of those ones that you'll just look back on and go, like, if you weren't in it, like, why didn't I get a big bag of that? And VeChain is my second biggest bag. I'm transparent about that all the way. I've got XRP and VeChain as my two key holdings. XRP for the money, VeChain for the logistics, like two massive world problems to be solved, right? Like if Bitcoin has a problem to be solved of the digital gold store of value, great. That's a small market, like gold is a couple of trillion market. If it takes a bit of gold's market cap, great, it's going to do well. But international logistics, supply chain solutions, and I'm even hearing this thing about it's being used for like your rewards card systems, your frequent flyer plans, like all that, where you can get credits and tokens and notes and all that sort of thing. It's solving all these problems that take a lot of computer software to do. And if the blockchain can do that, it's brilliant. Tracking things, proving things are real merchandise. It's going to solve massive problems for business. And then you've got XRP, which is just going to take over the FX exchange market, which is one of the biggest trading markets in the world. And if any small amount of that money flows into XRP through using that ledger as a FX trading platform, which is basically transferring money around the world, it's going to win. So whether it's on this bull run or not, XRP is a winner as far as the tech, right? So that's where we're at. Dash. Dash for the cash. Now, I love this project because no one's talking about it. No one's raving about it, and that is the best thing about it, right? So we've got a 12x to its all-time highs right now, even more than that. And it's been flirting with us. You know, privacy coins have their day every now and again, and they make a good run, but it is in a beautiful accumulation zone. If I am going to roll some profits into something very late in the game and Dash has not taken off and it's still, you know, under 120, 130, $150, I'm going to load the boat as much as I can on Dash because it will go above that all-time high and it will go beyond that all-time high. But the key thing is that it needs to break through this cloud. It needs to, it needs to stay above this yearly moving average, and it needs to have that yearly moving average cross that 3-year moving average, right? So I can predict that that's somewhere, you know, if it goes steadily, so probably somewhere around here. So if, in that kind of 190 level, what are we looking at? So if it crosses over here somewhere in the future, that's where it's going to take off, you know. So once it kind of consolidates upwards towards that 220 level, that's where it's going to break out of this cloud and it's going to head on upwards, right? So we'll just go, and then that's the trajectory for that. The trajectory, excuse my mispronunciation of things. Dash for the cash. I like it. I've got a decent enough bag of it at the moment that I'm happy. But if I could add to it with, let's say it's that Ethereum play, like sell Ethereum at a couple of thousand, roll it into Dash, and it's still at a couple of hundred. Its all-time high is 1,000. There's a low supply, not low market cap, but a low supply of the coin. It's being used in real-world cases. I like it. I like Dash. Not going to say much more about that. Dash for the cash. Dash is a cash solution. It's probably better than Bitcoin as a peer-to-peer cash system because it's faster, and it's got a bit more of the privacy built into it. Peercoin. This is my I'm going to get off that highlighter. This is my Altcoin Experiment. So when I did that video on District X, I decided to buy $100 in Australian of Peercoin as an experiment, just to see what happens, see what I could turn $100 into. And I think, let's say I got it somewhere in around here. So to all-time highs, I'm looking at a 32x, so I could turn my $100 into 3,200 Australian, which would be super cool, and I'll do a little celebratory video on that. But what I'm half thinking I may do is if it does pump at any point and takes a run to get out of this cloud and get up into these ranges, I may roll that over into something that hasn't pumped yet, depending. But I don't see Peercoin really breaking out. It's not like it's a popular thing. I don't think anyone's jumping on its bandwagon. It's definitely broken out of its downtrend. It's taken, it's reversed its pattern. So like most things from March, it's created a higher low. This bullish cross is a long way away. So it's also one of those ones that potentially you could roll into if it stays sideways for a while there. So what have we got? 19x to all-time highs. So that's a good return on your investment. If you can do 19x to all-time highs right now, you'd take that any day of the week. You're not going to get that with many of the top 10s at the moment. That's for sure. Peercoin is definitely one that I would add a little bit to if and only if. What super low level would I have to buy this particular one at? Well, it would have to be below 31 but I'm probably going to say even lower. I'm going to say it's going to have to reach down to 25 cents and touch that yearly moving average for me to buy any more of Peercoin and add maybe another 100 Australian dollars to that, which should be just adding to the experiment, I guess. Litecoin, not going to look at that. Link, I think Link is a good one. It's evidenced that it's strong, as in like the market wants it. I think that the early pump that it had is super exciting for the project. Like, I wish I had have got in at around $5 because I'd just be holding that for the long run. But I guess if we're looking at buying it cheap again, maybe $10 is a good target for the dip. The fact that it has been down here, we'd probably add another one there around the 7. The fact that it did wick down, and it can wick down that low in recent times, means that it potentially can. But I think if I was to be accumulating Link and wanting to be a part of that, $10 and lower, $11 and lower would be my price. But it's one of those ones that rebounded really strongly with Bitcoin just recently, so there's a lot of buyers there for it, right? So, but a lot of buyers can also mean there's a lot of sellers in the short term. So that's that. Tezos also rebounded strongly. Now I don't know why that is. I don't know. That's this chart to me. I guess it's a megaphone in a way. Got kind of those resistances there, and then we've got this kind of support level just at roughly on the 2-week. It's above its yearly moving average, albeit it's been wicked down recently. So once again, anywhere along this lower edge of this channel is a buy if you're going to accumulate Tezos at the moment. The fact that it's in that lower range is a good thing for me. Like, if it was up here, it'd be like, hold off, wait till it comes back here. But for one to buy right now, and especially on the next dip of Bitcoin, if it touches this line and gets us that 230 again or something like that, it's a buy. Another interesting thing which I have liked to see today is that Riot, Mara, and Argo blockchain have gone green today. I know that Bitcoin has turned around, but it's not that Bitcoin's any higher than it was a couple of days ago when it corrected. It's just that the market's decided that, we've realized that even if they mine a Bitcoin, it's still above 30,000 they're going to get for those Bitcoins. So that's like loads of money in their banks. Bullish crosses here out of the cloud. So I think we're going to see some large price action here in the very short term. And these are my main players: Riot, Mara, out of the cloud, bullish cross, out of the cloud. Was never in the cloud because Argo has just been on a price tear. I think I did a video recently where I said if I could get in again at like 20 cents, I would load the boat on this stock, because at 20 cents, I know it's going to go to at least $1.80 or £1.80, which is just clear, solid trade. If it ever dipped down that low, I don't think it will. I think maybe at some point it might dip down towards 40 cents if we're lucky. But imagine if I could turn back time when I said, I'm not going to buy in at 17 cents because my cost base is down here. How stupid was I? I just didn't see the writing on the wall, how parabolic it was going to go. But yeah, blockchain miners, if you're not in them already, I don't know. I think Argo's the one to watch, Argo blockchain. It's listed on an OTC on the US exchanges now. I would be waiting on the sidelines or dollar cost averaging in, at least, putting little bits in at a time on the red days. But I do see that it will correct. It's shown us that it can go there to 59, and there's no reason. I mean, if we go back to the daily, we've got gaps here. We've got gaps that can be filled. 23 cents. And then, yeah, that 40 cents there. So there's this kind of zone where it's fairly wicky. 35 cents there, right? So they're the kind of ones where I think it could get down to. So if you kind of are willing and patient to sit on the sidelines and set some limit orders, they're the sort of targets I'd be looking for right now to just achieve a maximum gain towards the end of the bull run. Like I say, you're better off being down here or even in the 11s and 10s. But yeah, we can't turn back the clock, can we? What else are we going to look at? This one, Harmony 1. I like Harmony 1. I was asked to have a look at it, and I think that it is ready to pop. I think it is. It's ready to pop. It's got some good things going for it, and yeah, we're just in a consolidation pattern. Like I think the market is waking up to this. I think this is kind of like the graph where it's got a range going on. The closer you can get it down to the bottom here, the better. But I think, what's the difference between 0.4% and 0.6%, right? Like it's not a huge difference, but it makes just differences in percentages, right? But Harmony 1 is definitely a buy. It's just a matter of how cheap you can get it. If we go back to that daily chart, it didn't really wick down too far, did it? Like it didn't kind of, if we were going to say that yesterday when it corrected with Bitcoin, it didn't really do much, but this is kind of the price level that I'm seeing. That would be a good entry point. If we could get down to that 0.5 cent at any point, if it just took a quick dip down there and you could get a stop loss or a limit order in there, that would be cool. But I think more likely something around that 0.06 cents. But like I say, if you want in, you want in. Like stuff like these, like I'd be willing to speculate on. I think I have some orders in for it at the moment, but I think there might come a time where I just kind of go, and the more I look at it, and the more I look at what it's doing, I like it. I like it because it's doing this. It's really grinding its way into a triangle, and we'll see. If it bursts, like it's kind of a good buy point, because if it breaks out, you got in early. But if it goes down and you're playing the dollar cost average thing, well, it's gonna dip up again. So it's kind of, I don't want to say it like a win-win situation, but because it's in this, you haven't bought it here, you've missed buying it here, but it's grinding its way into this wedge. So not the worst position to buy. It's kind of in the middle of where it's been for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, a couple of weeks. Yeah, Harmony 1. Harmony 1 is a buy for me. It's whichever way I look at it. I am going to go across. Oh yeah, I've got some comments here. I haven't even been paying attention to that. Moment killer. So the cloud. That is, what do we call it? Ichimoku Cloud. I'll go up here to indicators. It's this one. I guess you can find it if you got Trading View. Ichimoku Cloud. I set it up the way that one of my favorite chart analysts does. Oh no, actually, I just leave it as default. But basically, the idea is that it's printing it's printing this kind of price range from the past in the future, which is telling you where it might correct to, and a couple of them you've seen that, like here, like for example, it kind of used this cloud as resistance and then broke through it, didn't want to break out of it, came down, spent some time in it, followed the trend of it, broke out of it again, came down underneath it, and then when there was this weak point in the cloud, it went up and down. So now we're kind of out of that cloud, right? So for me, Harmony 1, it's in a good buying point, right? Going back to the 2 weekly, it won't give you data on the cloud if you haven't got enough data, right, on your larger time frames. One base trend, 3 top downtrend. Where would you say ETH is? Yeah, Ethereum. Sorry, Alex, that I didn't get your comment earlier. If you're still with us, I've seen one of my favorite analysts say that Ethereum is doing a cup and handle, and I think that there's some lower price action to come. I think that there's a potential for that cup handle to go lower, with Bitcoin kind of correcting for that longer period. So like I say, if I was trading Ethereum, which I'm not, I think, and going back to Ethereum on the, and if we put it on the daily, so there's this potential for it to kind of come back and cup a handle down, maybe as low as 600, maybe 750 there. So it's a potential that it'll handle down. Just watch it, but there's definitely some better entry points. I don't think, like, every coin that seems to break its all-time highs, flirts with it for a while, then pulls back a bit and then fires out, so it's kind of like, let's go up and then over and then back down again, and then kind of fire on the way out. So I think that if you're on the sidelines and you're not in Ethereum, there's some better entry points to come, especially if Bitcoin continues on that correction. So just watch and see. But like I say, who knows? Like, Ethereum could just tear off, like alt season could start because Ethereum tears off. So we just don't know. I'm going to go into some of my metal stocks right now, just because I'm just so keen to do some analysis on them. And I'm going to go back over to that monthly. And firstly, anyone that can trade on Trading 212, Kefi Gold and Copper, this is my little baby. Like, if I didn't put enough into Argo blockchain, this is the one that, it's a longer play, gold and copper, but it's just so beautiful. Like, it's bear market come down, reversal, double bottom, and following this triangle out of there, so this is just kind of the replication in a shorter time frame of, so I'm seeing that, from where are we now, like 2 pence, under 2 pence, going up to like £1.50 in when are we, in 2023, right? So that's what I see. This is my long-term price prediction, which is like an 87x. So I just wanted to show people that chart, just because, like, moving into a commodities bull run, well, we're already in a commodities bull run. This mob have copper and gold projects, and they've got them in kind of not the safest territories, but they've got solid projects that are going to turn cash flow, and that cash flow will reverse this pattern. People were speculating on what they had back here. So the market's told us that it's kind of valued its future potential to be around this mark, around that kind of 85 to a pound mark, 85 pence to a pound mark. So all it needs to do now is prove that up, get the ore out of the ground, and then ride that price up again, just to convince the market, or to actually give the market what it wanted back here, which is that cash flow and that market cap. So Kefi Gold and Copper is a hot stock for me right now. Mag Silver Corp, broken out of all-time highs. This is kind of, I guess this is the Ethereum of the silver stocks. It's gonna fire. I mean, it's only red in the last kind of month because silver's in that little bit of a pullback, but it is this one is going to keep going in this upward trend here on the monthly. So buying in now 1820, it's a bargain. It's a bargain. These crew, this Mag Silver crew, and if anyone doesn't know about silver and the bullish case for silver, just look it up on YouTube. But basically, silver is not only money, as in people buy coins of it and stack coins and they save it for a preservation of wealth. Silver is actually going to be in such high demand for things like solar panels, the 5G. If you want to play 5G, like, don't bother about Nokia or Huawei or whatever. Silver is the 5G play. You need silver in these chips. You know what I mean? Like in all these mobile phones that are going to be built for 5G and all the technology in the servers and whatever else for 5G, silver is the main component. Electric vehicles, silver. Like there's silver everywhere. Like silver is such a used metal. So there's going to be a supply-demand situation coming on in the near term, whether it be the next 3 months, 6 months, year, but over the next couple of years, you're going to see silver gap up a lot. And I think I can just show you my long-term chart there for silver on the monthly. Cup, handle, firing out somewhere in the future, 5 to 7 years, up to a $183 per ounce silver. It's not out of the question. You see what silver did in the 70s, it fired up there, took a big bear market, and then it's just going to fire up again by the same amount. So that's what I'm seeing for silver, and companies like MAG are going to really flourish when those prices go up, because these crew have so many ounces in the ground, all in one spot, ready to be mined, being mined by, it's a joint venture with Fresnillo, experienced silver miners. So they're going to kill it, like it's just, for me, it's such a big buy. Golden minerals, this one's a good one as well. Buying in now is an ideal time. Gold, silver miner, just going into production, like that real turning point where, they're actually going to be turning cash flow, coming into that solid bull market. Golden minerals is another buy for me. Like it's a hot one right now. You can see that we've just done that bullish cross of the 1 and 3 year moving average right there. Done some good months, pulling back again. If we go to the weekly, pull back a bit, maybe kind of test this line again if we have to, test the yearly moving, the 50 MA if we have to. But I think it's pretty solid play. There's no scary business going on with these guys. They're in territories, they're mining, they're drilling, they're making money soon, they're putting ore through mills. Golden minerals is a buy for me, definitely at the moment. Where are we? Got First Majestic Silver, same deal. They're coming into this triangle here. They're at the top end of it. I don't think they're going to dip back much. So definitely accumulation for me. Pan American Silver, another good one to be buying right now. Real speculative plays. I'm seeing this one, which this is for me is like the ultimate fear entry. As in, I bought this one down here so some news dropped that they didn't get approval or a permit for this particular copper mine. They've proved it up. It's got so much copper. America needs copper for the EV boom. America buys too much of its copper from overseas. It shouldn't be buying its copper from overseas when there's mines like this in Alaska that just have such high grade, large quantities of it in the ground. But some environmentalists have said we don't want it mined here, or some environmental organisations, so they've denied them a permit, but they will appeal that permit. And the market's just said, we think they'll appeal it. You know, there's people that have bought in the last month, including myself, that have said, that's a great buying opportunity, that permit denials come out, because they'll fight it. Eventually, it will get mined, because the government will realise, and especially the government of Alaska will realise, that the jobs are important, the resource is important, the tax is important, that is going to come in from this particular project, which is very important for the manufacturing industry in America, needing that copper, especially for EVs. You know, I'm sure Elon Musk would have something to say about being able to buy copper from America as opposed to having to get it from overseas, and being able to buy it at a decent price if he could. So we'll see what happens there. But once again, you could see that down there and go, it's just going to go low, it's going to drop out. But the fact that it held, and it held in a slightly higher position than this low down here, tells me that's a fear entry, buy in, and then I'm 50% up on that trade. And it stayed 50% up. So Northern Dynasty Minerals is it's a good one for me. I mean, I don't think you're too late on it. I think it's recently gone up to $2 or $3. So where are we at 50 cents now? The market has said that it's been valued as much as $18 in the past. So that's super bullish as well, you know, to go from, and let's do that right now, even from today's prices, we've got a 43x to that all-time high. So super bullish on something like that. Not got a large position on the table. You know, I'll probably load the boat when start seeing news of these court appeals coming through, or some news about copper and the need for it, and starts getting in the news that way. But yeah, definitely Northern Dynasty Minerals is a buy. Where else are we at? What am I watching? See this one. I'm really trying to roll things into dividend paying gold miners, and this one here particularly is a favorite of mine right now, because they pay an 8% dividend. So they are at the bottom range of this triangle, so it's a good buying opportunity, and they're not far from all-time highs, so price discovery is not far away. So we could see this thing kind of bounce its way along this line, or just fire up there, fire back down there, and then head on out, right? So these are the sort of stocks that eventually I want to be piling any profits from speculative stocks that go up in the gold bull run, or from crypto, into these sort of stocks. So they're paying me income throughout the next bear market, which, you know, that's the ultimate play for me in the crypto industry, is to take massive amounts of profits and roll them into income paying things, whether it be real estate, whether it be stocks that pay income, or businesses that provide me income through selling goods and services. So that's the crypto plan, and that's what I'm all about. And so that's why I've got this large watch list, and most of these ones I'm actually invested in various amounts. But yeah, so the KEFI would be the big play, Mag, Silver, the big play for me, coming down to golden minerals, and then yeah, what else have I got that's fairly deep? Yeah, so then the good old NAK has got a little decent position, but the rest of them I'm just kind of just building the positions on the red days. So if I see something red, like for example today, what did I buy? I bought a little bit more AUM there because it went down 3%, and anything that my cost basis is a little bit too high compared to the current price, you know, so I try and pull that cost basis up by dollar cost averaging. So that's what I'd be doing. Sierra Metals, this is another one that's on the watch list. Haven't taken a position, but that'll be a dividend paying stock, I believe, which is pretty cool. Or if not, just a project with a lot of gold. So that's the one. This is a new one, Blue Jay Mining, Mineral Sands. cash flowing very shortly in Greenland. So kind of the only big player in Greenland that I can see, and very mining friendly jurisdiction. But if you are into the miners, I believe anyone that's got ground or land in Canada, very mining friendly. Australia, very mining friendly. Some parts of America, some parts of South America. So just be aware of what you're buying into. But most of this list here, I'm fairly confident that they're not going to have governments come in and take over their projects. I think the biggest hurdle for the miners at the moment is the COVID. The COVID is not helping them as far as mines being shut down because of government. So that's fair enough. Like that happens in every industry, and why not? Yeah, Alex. Yeah, I'd be hoping for lower as well. In most things at the moment, we are in that. We're in that handling part of all the cups. You know what I mean? So if you look at going back. And I love this one. I love the total crypto market minus Bitcoin, right? So we're going to be heading up and then we're going to handle down, right? So we're going to cup and we're going to handle. So the crypto market as a total will hit its all-time high and then it will pull back. And then that'll be that scary moment. That's when things will freak out, things will go weird. And things will be going up while things are going down, and there'll just be some wishy-washy stuff going on. But basically, I think the smartest thing to do is sit on the sidelines and just have targets for particular projects you want to get into at the lower end. And if you've got 10 targets of 10 projects you want to get into at lower entry points that are going to give you massive gains, if 2 or 3 of them come through, that's the win, but FOMOing into them right now while they're just going up and down with Bitcoin is just a silly game because it's going to mentally head wreck you, you had to be in August, June, July, August to build positions then for the pumps that have happened to give you a solid cash base to just sit and watch this out, this up and down movement that doesn't matter. But if you bought recently, it starts to freak you out. You buy now, goes up 20%, then it goes down 15%, and it goes up 20%. So, headspace wise, you just basically want to wait at the moment. And that's what I'm doing. I don't have a lot of cash reserves, but I've got a couple of hundred, up to 1,000 that I'm going to put into things and just go bang. I want, 40% of that and 20% of that and 20% of that, another 20% of that, because there are good price points, low market cap coins that I want to kind of then use to then roll into something at the very end, like the dashes or like the XRPs if it's very laggard, and just go ride the very end of that journey, because that's what I'm hearing the smart traders are doing. They basically take profits from everything and roll them all into the very last one to pump, ride that out and then cash out, and it kind of makes it a little bit easier as an exit plan because you're not having to sell everything at once at the very end. You haven't got a bag of 10 coins that you're like, oh shit, how do I sell everything at once now at the very top? You're scaling out of things into the other thing, and then you scale out of that thing and then you're out, so, and potentially keeping some just for the rainy day, I think, it wouldn't hurt to have a couple of XRP in the bank and a couple of Bitcoin in the bank just to have as digital assets to hedge against the hedge, right? So, yeah, I don't know, the stops thing. I'm not huge. I don't set stops, and I'm not huge on them because I will in the future when I'm actually making large trades. But I'm so kind of in that headspace of I'm willing to lose everything on this bull run. I'm new to it. I've done okay till now, and I'm not going to set stops because we're in a bull run. Setting stops in a bull run right now, the volatility is just going to it's going to knock things out. I'm just happy to, if things go low and I get below my cost basis, that it's going to go up again. I wouldn't be worrying about stops, but that's what causes all the volatility in the market, is that everyone has stops set, and so whales can come in, see those on the trading platforms, sell out to make it go below their stops get set out, then they buy back in. Like, it's, there's so much manipulation going on out there. It's ridiculous. Yeah, so yeah, I'm definitely not a stop guy. But I am a set, especially with the Bitcoin miners, like set price targets to sell. So if I see that it's pumping up, if it's pumped in pre-market and it hits a target, and then I'm like, shit, I know that it's kind of going to wind down. And it goes below something, I might set a sell target for that day to go, if it hits that again or somewhere around that again, I'll sell out, and that's worked really well for me. Shaving profits off the Bitcoin miners to buy the actual gold and silver or copper miners. So a similar thing will happen in this bull run, is that, I will set targets, and probably 3 or 4 or 5 targets towards the topper end of my ranges to sell out, so once that can happen, because I think trying to do market orders when things are going parabolic is just too crazy. Like, I just think it's easy to go like, I'm selling out then, and I don't care, because that's my 50%, or that's my 500%, or whatever it is, and that's what I'm happy with, and move on to the next one. So yeah, I am loving just crypto mining, Bitcoin mining, gold mining, metal mining. I just think it's the right side of the macro trend at the moment. And then looking towards after the crypto run, and I don't know about anyone else there that also likes stocks, is just seeing what value stocks are out there that dip when this actual stock market crash comes, because I'd love to get some of the likes of Google and the likes of, like even, I don't know, just lots of things out there that pay a dividend, or, they're good value, just to get them at bargain basement prices again, because that bubble's going to pop, right? So be very, very interesting to see what happens in the US stock market after this bubble pops and after the crypto bull run, because I think there might be an exodus to cash, which is always going to cause the stock market to pop. So yeah, that's that. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. My voice is starting to go a little bit. Thank you for everyone that watched. Thank you to everyone that will watch this again in the future. And best of luck getting into those lower entry points at the moment. I mean, you've seen the last couple of days, the 20% discounts you can get. Like, imagine if we can get 30 or 40 or 50% discounts in the near future. That would be super cool. And it's kind of crazy, because you could have just basically sat on the sidelines for this whole time with cash, and then get in at the very end and watch it go up, right? But I think for me, being in the market gives you the bullishness, gives you the staying power. Watching your portfolio fluctuate between X and Y makes you kind of stay and go, no, I'm stuck in it, I'm in it, I'm going to wait till the very end, and then I'm going to sell out and take those juicy profits, right? So that's it. I've been Crypto Plan, and I hope that everyone's kind of seen the way I look at the charts and learn a little bit more. I think it's so important, along with your fundamental analysis, to actually have the charts in front of you, because you can see that things get confirmed, things on the chart confirm things in real life, right? And if we go back to Theta as that perfect example, while we're here, is that says to me that the market is bullish on Theta. You go down to DOT, yeah, bullish as well. You go down to XLM, it's bearish to bullish, So Theta, you learn about a project in your fundamentals, you read about it, the problem it's solving is doing this and that. Might not actually be doing it now, but the market is saying that in the future, I believe it will do that, and I'm valuing that particular project at this much right now, and I'm probably going to value it at $14 at some point in the bull market, and maybe more, maybe up to $40. So the market tells you what they believe and what they think and what they want to believe. But then just as quickly as they tell you what they think it should be worth, they can say, I don't think it's worth that anymore. And that's when we get corrections, and that's when we get pullbacks, and that's when we get bear markets, because the market forgets about something and they get bored of something. So, but I think, yeah, Theta is a good example of how a chart tells you that there was a lot of speculation, accumulation, and people buying and selling this thing, and then all of a sudden, maybe Google invests in it and gets one of its nodes. Oh, now we're interested in it, you know. So that's the charts tell the story. They tell the history, you know, of what's happened, and the more data you get, they can kind of predict the future a little bit as well because of technical trading. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there, and big crypto plan, and please like and subscribe and do all that. I didn't ask you to do that all the way through it, but hopefully you did, and if not, I hope you got some value. Awesome. Bye-bye.